Hi everyone, I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars and welcome back to my channel. I'm very thankful that you are all here with me today, and we're going to talk about all of the low buy, no buy spending that we hear about from time to time. I keep hearing that's going to be a no buy January or a no buy July, and they pick different months to have a no buy or low spend month. But I was sitting here thinking, are we still doing that? Are we really still doing that with inflation? Because I haven't lived like that since I don't even know when. And maybe I'm just different. Let me know. But this low buy philosophy, that's what I live by all year long. I don't pick a certain time to not buy or low buy something. I just live like that as a rule. I don't um go out and buy things that I see that I want during the year. I don't feel like I need anything. I feel like it's a slippery slope between wants and needs. I think that line gets blurred so much in this day and age that people will think that something is a need when actually it is a want. I think about when I grew up, we didn't have hair conditioner. We washed our hair once a week. We put it in rollers once a week. And then I think back to, how hard it was for mom to put my hair in rollers and how she would pull it and it hurt my head pretty bad. And I didn't even know conditioner existed. And then when I grew up and found it existed and found that it didn't pull my hair to use it, then I was like, that's a need, right? I have to have hair conditioner. So all of us review things in our life like that, piece by piece, product by product, on whether or not it's a need or whether or not it's a want. But many times that can get blurred. Many times we can say, I need this from the grocery store, but do we really need it? Or is it more of a want? When I tried to always live low spend and frugally, I would exempt certain things out of that vocabulary looking back. I exempted food from that vocabulary. For me, I always was a low spend, no spend on like things for me, clothes, things like that. But if it came for something for the kids or if it came for food, I didn't ever put like a price tag on that. I'm like, if it's for the kids, then we get it. If it's for food, then there's no limit. And I would go shopping and I would just pick up whatever I wanted at the store because if it was food, then I thought that was a need and I thought that was okay. And I just didn't even put a number on that. Well, as you know, I have changed significantly since those days. And I really scrutinize needs and wants, even more so as I get older, because this may sound kind of stupid, but I will look at things and go, I have enough clothes for the rest of my life. And I literally mean I do. So I look at things as I'm in the last quarter of my life, and do I really need it or do I have enough to get by and I want to spend it on something else? So I guess we all look at things differently. But as we go into this next year, I want you to think about who were your examples growing up, because I think that line that's blurred between needs and wants has a lot to do with who set the examples for you. Did you grow up in a family where every 50,000 miles they got a new car? Guess what? I did. I grew up where my dad traded in his car every time it hit 50,000 miles, because back in the day, 100,000 was about how far a car was expected to go. So at 50,000, he thought it was half worn out. My dad saved money for it though, and he always paid cash and he always bartered to get the price down. But he bought a new car every time it hit 50,000. Well, I know people now that buy new furniture regularly or buy new cars regularly or buy new clothes for the fashion season. And you have to really take a look at your spending model. Look at your expenditures and say, what has become normal for me that maybe isn't really that normal, but I've exempted that from my idea of what a low spend life looks like. I know that, if I only have two or three sweaters, I can get two or three more this winter. Or are you one of those people that say, I have two or three and that's enough? So I really think needs and wants is something that each person needs to look at themselves, examine themselves, and plan that into their budget going forward based on what their goals are. If your goals were like me to retire early, then maybe getting two or three more sweaters this winter isn't important. If your goal is to work a lot longer, then maybe two or three sweaters to you would be more of a need because you're thinking, hey, I am going to be working another 15 years. I'm going to use two or three more sweaters. So really look at your stage of life. Look at what has become normal for you. Look at the examples that have been set for you, including your friends and the people that you hang around with. What is normal for them? Do they not think twice about buying something new? Or do they really study and plan and save to buy that so that when they're buying it, it's not on credit? Credit wasn't so easy back in the day when my parents were raising me, and my parents didn't want any credit at all. They didn't want to owe any money. So we saved before we bought anything. Now the habit is more that we buy and we use credit and we don't think anything about it. Most people think credit is normal. Most people think owing for a car, owing for a house, owing credit card bills is normal. That's why I'm presenting this to maybe sit down for the new year, take a look at that. Look at what your examples were. Look at what you think is normal, and then really think about, is that something that I want to continue to deal with? Do I want to continue to pay interest on two or three sweaters if I can't afford them because I think I need them right now? Or can I get by until I have the cash in my hand to buy those two or three sweaters? And then that would make them cheaper for me because I won't be keeping a running balance just because I decided that I needed something that might have been a want if I thought about it a little bit harder. During Christmas, I had a few people make comments on some of the questions that I asked on my videos about delivery and ordering things regularly and how easy it was to get Amazon packages. And many people told me that a couple of their neighbors get packages every single day. So for that family, that had become normal. But should it be normal in your household? Is it a normal thing to be ordering something every single day and getting new products sent to our home every single day? Or is that something that we could sit down and look at for the new year and say, hey, we really need to think about that before we order it? And do we really need it? Or could that money be better suited somewhere else? So I have been guilty of this. Like I said, when it came to the food and when it came to kids, I spent whatever because I thought those were my two outs. Those were the things that whatever we needed in food or wanted was a need. And whenever the kids needed something, it was something that we bought, whether or not we had the money for it or not. So I've been there and I've had to sit down and relook at what are needs and wants as I've entered this stage of life. So, whatever stage of life you are in, that is always a good time to sit down and reevaluate at the new year to see what you want to do this next year. Are you going to pick a couple of months that are no spend, low spend? Or are you going to live where your whole year is a low spend? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next video.